You ready to talk Gucci? We've got some Gucci Mane for you. We're going to talk about something from just about 5 years ago. That was the appeal, Georgia's Most Wanted. So, Gucci Mane, after the State vs. Radric Davis, he made this album, followed it up less than a year after that came out. And it was one of those ones, like that album, the 2009 album he did had a lot of guests, but this one was a little bit more kind of organized and had less features on it, and really it's actually a pretty fair release. I do like it. I don't remember what I scored. I do not remember what I scored the State, but I do know that this is not bad. It's actually, for a commercial rap album, because Gucci was kind of crossing the line between being like Lil Wayne and being like Tech N9ne. So, and then to accompany that, this the people that he featured with. For example, you're going to see Nicki Minaj on here, and Ray J and Pharrell, but you're also going to see Wyclef and Swiss Beats. So it's really kind of difficult. I was surprised. I'm just going to point this out. A real, there's big accolades to Swiss Beats for this one, because he gave, it's only 2 songs, but he did give Gucci Mane 2 of the best songs on this album, and I was just, I know that he used to work with DMX, and he just felt like kind of more of an East Coast producer, but I'd love to hear, like, I'm not super, but I'd like to hear another 3 beats, something like that, on another record or something. I feel like that was like a good combination. And on his 2009 album, it was kind of, well, there are some good beats, but we just didn't get everything. So he does mess with Zaytoven, which is someone that he's had chemistry with since pretty much day one. But the production is handled a little bit differently. But I'll talk about how this album is structured. Like I said, it's basically kind of blurring the line between Beneath the Radar and commercial. And I think Gucci Mane, of course, his focus is on the trap and street music, but it makes me curious if he was aware of the sound that Tech N9ne had been pushing for all these years, which is interesting. I definitely would like to hear both of these cats on a song sometime, see what they're capable of. But this is one of those that, despite the fact that I like the State, this one is probably a little bit more likely to get plays from from a Bone Thugs type crowd, just because it's got some real muddy and dim sounding songs. So, can you smoke to this? The answer is yes, you can. Party Animal is an immediate one. Haterade's a real watery, mellow sounding one. It's Alive is pretty good. And Gucci Time are all great smoking songs. The production, now this was something that I really wanted to be a little bit better. The first 3 songs on this release are not that good, and I think Gucci Mane wanted to show what he's good at. This is the trap street talk that I was talking about, and then Making Love to the Money is after that. So it feels like Gucci Mane's #1 interests are where he's from and money. And luckily, as the album opens up, we get more things that he's actually about. But these 9 songs that I didn't like out of 15, yeah, these beats just do not work very well at all. Remember When, even though I didn't quite like that song, and Weirdo both have fair beats, but I'm just not quite sure how to rank those. But, you know, besides the 6 that I do like, those are 2 extra songs. I know that Making Love to the Money is a popular song, but I really don't like the song. The production is just, it sounds too much like fanfare, and I really don't like it. So the unheard songs, these are the 6 songs that I like the most. What it's gonna be. This one has a really pretty, beautiful piano type beat to it, and it works very well. This is brooding, kind of, you know, pulsating. Gucci Time's a boiler. That one feels like a summer song. So does Party Animal. Both of these 2 are like the heat of the album. Haterade mellows things out, but it's still good. You're going to find Nicki Minaj on here and Pharrell. They complement the song rather good. It almost sounds like, you know, you wouldn't think that this would fit, but I'm glad that they kind of go outside of their comfort zone somewhat. I'm not saying that Nicki is, you know, I haven't talked about her much, but given the right audience, I think she could be, you know, she really, you just got to get her saying the right things. If you put her on a song talking about strippers, you know, it's going to be boring. But if you get her on a song, you know, just how much she cuts loose, this is obviously going to be a lot better. So Haterade is just about the topic of people that don't like you, but it's still, the beat is just great. It's Alive is the other Swiss Beat song after Gucci Time, and this one really is kind of like an album cut that really nailed it. There would have been like 4 or 5 more of these songs, this would have gotten a really high score. And Brand New was kind of one of the strange ones, but I still liked it. So there are those are the 6. And really, I will say that, you know, you gotta have songs for women too. Remember When, Grown Man, these kind of do it, but for some reason the chemistry for when you would listen to the songs with women just doesn't fit that well. Just because it has an R&B singer does not mean it's a good song for women, and that's kind of the problem, is this doesn't fit the mood. And then the other song, Weirdo, I mean, that may be a future Almost song. I didn't have any Almost songs on this album, but that's pretty much a close one, but it's just too obscure. And then Making Love to the Money, I know people like it. I want to like that song. You know, I like songs that people introduce me to new stuff, but I just really don't like it. So, but alright, so I recommend this release, even though it's going to get a bad score, because I like 6 out of 15. You know, if I like 7, it'd get a 5, but I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10. And so the future Gucci Mane is in prison, but there's just a monster load of stuff he's done since 2013. I mean, he must have dropped like 8 mixtapes, 3 albums, whole bunch of stuff. So the social score, I'll give it a 5 social, just because these are Gucci Mane songs that you need to hear, but they don't really, I mean, Gucci Time is probably the biggest commercial song, and really, it's just necessary. It's kind of like Tech N9ne on some of his low-key albums. This is kind of a low-key Gucci Mane album that I think a lot of people will resonate with. There just isn't enough good content. So, can it be topped? Yes. So I give this album a 4.5 out of 10 and a 5 social.